Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Advice with Mike. I'm your host, comedian Mike Murphy. If you're new to the channel, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Now, this is the show where you guys send in your messiest, toxic, most out-of-pocket predicaments, and I attempt to break it down, giving my honest and unbiased feedback. Now, listen, I'm a comedian, not a therapist, so ain't no guarantee I'll help fix your life, but I can provide laughter along the way and call it like I see it. So without any further ado, let's get into the episode. I finally beat up my girlfriend's baby's dad. So, Mike, I need your honest take, bro. Me and my girl been living together for a couple of years, and her oldest son stays with us too. But the problem is his dad. That's usually the issue. He constantly disrespects me by telling his son he ain't got to listen to me, and that turned into straight up defiance in my own house. What you tolerate is what you accept. So one night, I finally catch his dad at a bar, and I beat his ass bad. Like this video if you think he's full of shit. Because I was tired of the disrespect spilling over into my home. Now, my girl's saying I was wrong and that I complicated her co-parenting relationship. Sounds like he still be beating up that box like Biz Marquis. But how am I the problem when he was the one poisoning his own son against me? She mad about co-parenting, but I'm mad about being disrespected in my house. The way I see it, he got what he deserves, and if he keep talking reckless, I'll do it again. Beating the brakes off her baby's dad for that outlandish language is something I'm definitely here for. I'm not going to let some deadbeat dad tell his son he could disrespect me, especially in a house I pay for. Was I wrong for defending myself, or is she just upset because I exposed her ex for being a clown? Now, I ain't saying you wrong, but I ain't saying you right either, because here's the situation, right? You putting hands on homie because he told his son he ain't got to listen to you wasn't him really disrespecting you. It wasn't like he was talking about you to her or to the son. Yeah, your man a lame. Yo, yeah, your stepdad corny. I'll smack him up. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't never disrespect you. He just told his son, yo, you ain't got to listen to him. He's not your dad. Now, I don't know the relationship between the dad and the son. You called him a deadbeat, but obviously they got a co-parenting relationship, so can't really be a deadbeat like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you referring to, like, the funds. Maybe he ain't sending the right amount of funds each month, so you calling him a deadbeat for that. Maybe he don't show up as often he's supposed to. I don't know, but the fact that you fighting him or beating him up, like you said, is ruining her co-parenting situation or complicating it, lets me know that he's there in some capacity. So if my kid was living with the mom and her husband was their boyfriend there or whatever, oh, and you're not even married to her mom, so you just really the boyfriend, y'all been together a couple of years, man, this is tough. I'm not saying you don't have no authority, but yeah, you probably shouldn't have put your hands on him. Yeah, I think he was wrong for that. Cause I'm thinking about it now. It's like, you ain't the husband. You say you pay the bills in the house. You didn't really delve into like the technicalities of what you pay, what she pays, or whatever. I don't know, bro. Like, it's tough, man. This is really tough. Like, I'm perplexed a little bit. I was thinking about it. At first, I was like, nah, he in your house and all this. Then I thought, like, they're not married. You've been messing with her for a couple of years. I might tell you, don't say nothing to my kid neither. I'm kind of starting to side with the dad now. Because you might really just be a hater low-key, you know what I'm saying? Because you're like, he's a deadbeat, but the mom is like, nah, we co-parenting. So you probably just might be a little insecure. You might think he's still, you know what I'm saying, diving in your girlfriend's box on oh, come get the child support. Then he support her back with the pillows and he, for a couple of minutes before she skate off into the sunset. I don't know. Now I'm starting to think that the dad ain't really the issue. I think you being a little insecure, you think something's up with them. Something about the son is being defined in a household. I don't know how old the kid is either. I don't know if it's a young boy, it's a teenager, he's feeling himself. It could be a bunch of reasons, but I'm gonna have to side with them and not you. I'm gonna say that based on what I know and what I've been given, you're wrong. Especially for putting your hands on him. Because you doing that isn't gonna make the son listen to you anymore, especially if he finds out. Even if the dad, for some reason, got beat up by you and thought, hey, son, you better listen to Mr. So-and-so because I don't want to get beat up again. The son ain't going to listen. He going to resent you more because you beat up his dad. So he really going to be talking crazy to you. And then if you touch him, he telling his mom or the cops or something, you're going to have child youth services knocking on the door talking about we got to do the investigation. We got the child line call about you putting hands on Junior. You know what I'm saying? So you might be in a bad situation. You might want to just step out of that relationship and get with a woman who don't got no kids, or realizing that you need to have a conversation with her and let her deal with the youth and straighten him out. And then if he's still not respecting you, then maybe you break it off. But yeah, you beating up the dad. I think you just wanted to do that anyways because you thought they still had something going on. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting after I really think about it. So I think you in the wrong. I'm gonna say that. I think you wrong. Yeah, bro. You said give your honest take. You wrong. I'm gonna go with that. Now, if there's details that you left out that are pertinent to the story, feel free to follow up, and then I'll do a redo if you aren't wrong. You know what I'm saying? But right now you're wrong. So do what I told you and stay alert, stay alive. She told me my uncle violated her. Now I'm ready to go violate him. So Mike, a close family member just dropped something heavy on me. Hey, yo, pause. She told me that when she was a child, my uncle touched her inappropriately multiple times. Nah, that's super duper nasty work, and uncle needs to be euthanized immediately. She never told anybody because she was scared, but she finally revealed it to me after years of holding it in. She says she only wanted to vent and doesn't want me to do anything about it. Women, y'all gotta stop telling problems to men that y'all don't want solved, because Unc is definitely a problem that needs solved. But I can't let that go, knowing what he did. It eats me alive to watch him walk around like a normal person. Nah, my man, you gotta go ahead and castrate homie because for the egregious behavior. She says to leave it alone, but that just feels like enabling. If he got away with it once, what's stopping him from trying it again with somebody else? My conscience is telling me to act on it. Now I feel torn between respecting her wishes and doing what I know is right. Like this video if you think he should go violate Unc. She don't want the drama, but I don't want to live with the guilt of knowing I ain't do nothing. Should I stay silent like she asked or expose him for the predator he is? Extra, extra, read all about it. That's the type time I'm on. All right, so first and foremost, I want to say I'm sorry that this happened to your relative. This actually happens more often than we know, and it never gets disclosed because of things like this where they don't want to say nothing. They feel afraid. They don't want to cause problems. Some of those women are just so like, well, I don't want his kids or I don't want his wife to look at him differently. So they just bear the burden of dealing with that trauma all their lives, and it comes out in their relationships or their day-to-day lifestyle, you know what I mean? Because they're carrying this heavy weight on them that they haven't dealt with properly. They don't go to therapy. They don't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So whatever caused this relative to come and tell you leads me to believe that you and his relative have a close-knit relationship that she felt strongly enough that she could confide in you. Now, here's the issue, and this is a PSA to all women. Typically, not all men, but generally, typically speaking, more often than not, men are hardwired to be problem solvers. So if you bring a problem to a man, his first reaction is, how can I solve the problem? What is the solution to this? So when you want to just vent to somebody, go vent to another woman. I know it sounds dismissive or insensitive. It's not. If you don't want any action taken and you just want to vent, don't vent to a man. We are solution-based, like oriented to solve problems. Women, you can just go vent and be like, oh, girl, don't worry about it. She's like, okay, I'm here if you need me. Y'all can cry together and drink wine or whatever. If somebody, my family member, comes to me and says, yo, this happened, dead all that. I don't care what you're talking about. I'm dealing with this. Because the solution to this is to either do something violent to him or to expose him or even get the law involved to some degree or whatever. He needs to atone for his sins. So that's the first thing I'll say that the women, I don't care if your boyfriend's beating you up, anything, if you don't want action taken, then please do not tell a man because we are goal-oriented. We want to find out what the solution is. So with that being said, you have to take another step back and find out why she waited so long and told you, but doesn't want anybody else to know. Because as a woman, if you were violated like that, as a child, as a woman, whatever, your main goal should be, I can't take away what happened to me, but I can stop it from happening to somebody else. So that's why when I say that women hold on to these secrets forever and don't say anything to anybody like these celebs and they want money, I tell them women, you're a piece of shit because you so money hungry that as long as you get your money, you don't care if that person goes to jail. You don't want him in jail. You don't care about that. You just want money. So he can go out and do that to other women. You don't care about if he's a predator on the loose. As long as you get paid, you're good. A real victim wants justice. He needs to be off the street. He needs to be castrated. Something needs to happen to him so that can never happen to nobody else like it happened to me. And then you could throw me some money in too, but he needs to go to jail. So why she waited so long to tell you and don't want you to say anything, my question to her will be, what if he's doing this to other people or has the opportunity? Don't you want people to be aware of this? And she's like, oh, I don't want the drama. No, you're being selfish now. because I don't know the age of this woman, you know what I'm saying, in your family or when it happened or whatever. But I'm sure that if he got a thing for kids, there's other kids in your family that he could do the same thing to. So my advice to you is one of three things. A, you violate him physically and you expose him. B, you don't touch him, you just expose him and turn him into the authorities. Or C, you just let it go and then you live with the guilt of maybe it happened to somebody else and it's your fault and her fault. But I would definitely ask her a couple questions to find out why she waited so long, why she doesn't want no one to know he did it. Because just imagine if she's just seeking attention and she said that to you, like, no, I don't want you to do that, so you could feel bad for her or feel guilty or whatever, give her sympathy. But she don't want you to say nothing because he'll come out and be like, it was a goddamn lie. I ain't never touched you, yada, yada. And you find out she made the whole story up. Because believe it or not, women make stuff up. And I ain't victim blaming, but I know I've had a ton of experience with women in real life, women, news articles, women lie all the time when their emotions are involved. When they get hurt, they lie on men. They'll lie. He touched me. He did this. He did it. He's a deadbeat. He don't want to see his kids. Meanwhile, all the time, she not letting him see the kids because she bitter that he ain't there no more. So she lying to her kids, saying he a deadbeat and he not. So women do lie. So you need to have a good conversation with her, make her be honest, and then after that, man, you got to do something because now you're putting other people's lives and their innocence on the line because she don't want to say nothing. So that's my advice to you, man. Again, stay alert, stay alive. 20 years ago, I robbed my neighbor, and now the guilt is weighing on me. So, Mike, this one's been bothering me for the last few months. When I was 17, almost 18 years old, me and my friend broke into my neighbor's house and robbed him at gunpoint. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. We took money and valuables from his house, and he never knew it was us, and that was more than 20 years ago. For a long time, I buried it, but lately I can't stop thinking about it. He's older now and he's struggling financially. Like this video if you think he's a piece of shit. Part of me wants to confess everything and make it right. Honesty is the best policy, but I'm afraid of the consequences as well as put him through more pain when he finds out it was me. The guilt's making me feel like I owe him more than a quiet donation. My boy want to be G-Dep so bad, so now I'm stuck between two terrible options. Admit what I did and face the consequences, man up, champ, and own it, or not. That's your choice. Or try to fix it silently by helping him with money and staying anonymous. Both feel heavy, but I don't know which is the right way to ease the guilt. Mike, how do I make this right? I ain't gonna lie, right? So as a man, the stand-up thing to do will be to confess to him what you did, ask for forgiveness, and then contribute to him financially whatever you could afford to make things right. At the bare minimum, you give back the amount you took from him plus some interest if you got it. I don't know. That's what is the ideal fairy tale, blockbuster movie answer would be. As a man, you own up to what you did. That's what my dad would say. That's what my grandfather would say. But it's been 20 years. Sometimes we make things, we right the wrongs, but not necessarily come out like, how do I say this? So you can do something for him nice. Like, let's just say in 20 years ago, you took a total of $10,000 from him. Let's just say right now, you got 20 that you could just dispose of without blinking an eye. You give him 20, even if you never tell him you did it, you're making it right with him. You know what I'm saying? Now, would that make it feel right between you and God? Who's to say? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You might give him the 20 bands and still can't sleep at night because you want to tell him, yo, I was the one that robbed you. Because I don't know how that robbery affected your neighbor, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that was 20 years ago, that's still your neighbor, that means he's probably close with your parents, your siblings if you got them, you know what I'm saying? Y'all was probably raised right next door to him. You probably was just seeing that he had some bread in there because y'all live so close, told your homie, yo, I can hit a lick. Mr. Thompson next door, you be having the bread in the crib, let's mask up with the shiesties and go get him. You probably did that. So you're really a piece of shit, you know what I'm saying, that you did it. You might have cleaned up your life and that ain't who you are no more. And that's all well. You might have a career that you can't walk away from to go do some jail time. I don't even know the statute of limitations on that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you look up the statute of limitations. If it's past that where you can't go to jail for it, then maybe you go to him and say, yo, I got a confession. It's been eating away at me. And you tell him what you did. Now, if you can still get sent away for it, maybe you hold off. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're like, yeah, I messed up. I ain't about to go to jail as an adult for something I did when I was a kid. Nah, he's just gonna have to wait. I'll tell him when I'm free and clear. but I'm gonna still break him off with the greenbacks. You know what I'm saying? Because I did take from him. It say something like that in the Bible. Like if you steal from a man, you can replace. You know what I'm saying? But if you black his eye or something, you can't. Something like that in the Bible. So all you're doing is repaying him what you took. And if it's going to ease your conscience and clear your mind by saying, yo, I was doing a rob you 20 years ago. I was a child. I didn't know no better. I was a knucklehead. I turned my life around. It's been bothering me ever since. I see you struggling. Please let me help you and please forgive me for what I did. Sounds like y'all been neighbors or y'all close or whatever. You might be like, you know what, man? I forgive you. I knew it was you. I just couldn't prove it. But, you never know. The streets be talking. Maybe old head knew it was you and just didn't say nothing. Maybe he's waiting for the apology to come before he croaked. I don't know. But that's what I would do. I would at least find out when the statute of limitations is up on armed robbery for the crib. And if it is up, then I would go over there and be like, listen, ask for forgiveness, tell him what you did, and explain why. But like, man, I was just making dumb decisions. I was caught up. My friend was like, yo, we need to get some money. We tired of being broke. Whatever your reason was, I would just be open and honest with him about it, ask him for forgiveness. And then, but like, either way, whether you forgive me or not, I totally respect your decision, but I got to repay you for what I took. Then you peel him off the chicken. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you don't got nowhere near what you took, that's kind of going to be a slap in the face. Yeah, no, I took 10 bands from you, but here's 1,100. Do you forgive me? He might be like, yo, get out of my house before I get my grandson to run down on you with the hardware. Because you done broke into the crib 20 years ago. Now he's a YN and he's ready to clip something for OG. So let me make that call. Stay alert, stay alive. You know what I'm saying? That's what might happen if you disrespect him with the low, reimbursement. So that's what I would do, man. I would find out what the statute of limitations are, ask for forgiveness, and then make it right by giving him some money. Maybe you sweep the leaves off his lawn or something. I don't know. Do something to help ease the load that he has and tell him what you did. That's my advice to you. I hope you still ain't doing stuff like you was doing 20 years ago. If so, stay alert, stay alive. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode of Advice with Mike. I'm your host, comedian Mike Murphy, and I hope you guys enjoyed me as much as I enjoyed you. And if so, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Like this video. Matter of fact, leave me a comment and let me know what advice you would have gave them. And who knows, maybe you got your own toxic tale to tell about a shady friend or an entanglement you need help untangling. If so, feel free to drop me a letter in the email provided below, and I'll make sure I read it on a future segment of Advice with Mike. Now, with that being said, our time together has come to an end. But just remember, stay alert, stay alive.